And you will be seeing what else is in this box over the next few videos, so make sure you are subscribed to see what I have planned for my shrimp room. What's up? Welcome back to the channel. Today I have a 10-gallon or 40-liter tank, and I'm going to be setting this up for Caridina shrimp. As we know, being the high IQ shrimp keepers that we are, Caridina require an active substrate. I'm going to be using some 88 Amazonia version 2 like always today. Now I plan on putting some rooted plants in here, so we do need to use these nutrient tab things provided in the bag. With those scattered around somewhat evenly, we can now add our substrate. I'm going to be doing this a little thicker than other breeders out there would, so that my rooted plants will, well, stay rooted. Shallow substrate leads to easily uprooted plants, and no one likes a floating carpet. While I do this, let me talk about the general plan here. My previous crystal red tank has just not bred very well. I got like one clutch of shrimp from them in the year and a half I've had them. I'm really not certain what the issue is, but I feel like I've tried everything imaginable to fix that tank. So as a final step to try to get my crystal red shrimp to breed, I'm just gonna put them in a new tank. If this fails, my gut tells me it's an issue with inbreeding, making them infertile, and I'm just gonna bite the bullet and order some new crystal red shrimp. I know this can happen in other animal species, and I've heard rumors of it with shrimp, so some fresh genetics should help. Right?
That's what she said.
Anyway, back to the build. Some of you may remember that my metal framed nano tank has a crazy carpet of Monte Carlo, and well, I don't really know what to do with all of this. I suppose I could sell it, but it's so slow growing with no CO2 that it would be hard to recover if I sold just a bit too much. My price would also probably be way too high for any sane person to purchase because of the time investment into this so far. It's been like 3 years. I've said this before. It's been like 3 years, and like it almost died. And yeah, anyway, so I've decided to pull a large chunk out of here, and I'm going to use it to carpet this new tank. It's a very thick mat that I removed. It's mostly one large piece with only a couple of stragglers. I'm just going to plop it here in the center and push it down. It'll probably require a bit more work to keep it down once the water's added, but for now this kind of works. Nope. I also have this large chunk of dragonstone with some java fern and anubias stuck to it. This was originally from my blue dream tank, but I pulled it months ago and it's just been chilling in a coral tub since then. Let's put it to good use and place it over in this corner so we have a bit of height in the back of the tank. As I said, there were some Monte Carlo stragglers left in my bucket of water, so I'll pop those in now. This plant is such a pain in the ass to get to stay in the substrate. The general technique is to use your forceps to get the roots under the surface. Release them slowly so the dirt falls on top of some of the roots, and then slowly pull the forceps out of the substrate. It doesn't always work like that, however, and I usually have to fight with the plant for a while to keep it down. I'm going to try to get this long chunk rooted a little better than my huge mat.
That's what she said.
This is quite the tedious task, but if I just give in and use my hands a little bit, I'm sure this will stay put. Fingers crossed. Some final touches here. I have cholla wood with java fern slotted into the gaps. I have some more cholla that I stuffed with java moss, and this final cholla with various types of anubias attached to it. I'll put this last chunk of moss behind the dragonstone here so the shrimps have a little hidey spot for the babies, and voila, it's now time for the water. Let me know what you think of this scape in the comments below, and hey, if you enjoyed this so far, don't forget to hit that like button. This was RO water that has been remineralized using salty shrimp GH plus to the appropriate TDS. Do not use tap water with your active substrate, as the KH in tap water will kill the buffering capacity of your soil and the pH will rise and the shrimps won't do very well. Now the next couple of steps I actually forgot to film for whatever reason. It has been a while, but while the water was being added, I attached a double sponge filter to the side glass on the left and tossed in a piece of hornboard I recently got. As you can tell from the after video, I did end up having to bury quite a lot of that Monte Carlo because it just kept floating. If I did film that, it would be very NSFW due to how badly I cussed out this plant. I finally got it to stop floating by burying it much deeper than I initially thought I would have to, and I even added a thin layer of substrate on top to weigh everything down. I also attached an air line to the double sponge, tossed some ram's horn snails in there, and did my ghost feeding. I actually don't think you need to ghost feed with active substrates because the dirt leaches ammonia for your filters to get cycled, but old habits die hard, am I right?
You encouraged it. You were complicit. Complicit.
My apologies again, I did not film the next step of adding some small Crypt 20 browns to the very back of this setup. It was rather impromptu as I had some left over after uprooting a bunch for sale. I figured this tank could use some more height back there, so there you go. It's all surface area for shrimps, right? Honestly, I think the best shrimp setup would just be a tank filled with like low density foam sponges. It would have so much surface area, the shrimps would just go nuts. Anyway, we'll take one last look at the setup before it's cycled, and I guess I'll see you in a couple of months.
Several months later.
And ta-da, here we have it. 10-gallon aquarium with Monte Carlo carpet cycled and ready to go. As for the shrimp, I actually slowly added the crystal red shrimp over the period of a couple of weeks. This made it difficult to film the process, but it was rather straightforward. You net them into a cup, drip acclimate for a couple of hours, and then add them to the tank. I will be showing this process in a minute here, just with different shrimps and spoilers. The first couple of shrimps were just to ensure that they wouldn't all die on contact with the water. And then for the next little while, I just added a couple of them at a time when I saw them in the 20-gallon long. As I stated, I didn't film any of this, so here's the tank with shrimps. Yay! And for anyone curious, these guys popped some babies right around the end of October, so the tank change did seem to help. Let's hope they keep going, and by the spring I should have hundreds to sell at bobmoss.shop, link in the description. Now, I could end this here, but I hear you all asking,
But Bob, what did you do with the 20 long?
well, listen here.
Look here! Look, listen!
I'm actually going to try some other Caridina shrimps in there. The pH and TDS are low enough that in theory it should still be fine for some other Caridina shrimps. And you will be seeing what else is in this box over the next few videos, so make sure you are subscribed to see what I have planned for my shrimp room. For the 20 long though, I got myself some red King Kong shrimp. They just look so cool, and I did get a pretty decent price on them from someone relatively local. They're just in the next province, so they shipped them. That's why they're in a box like this. Yeah. Anyway, I'm praying that they do a little better in this setup than the crystal red shrimp did. You know, my blue bolts have just been doing amazing since day one, and I really want to have that success with my other shrimps. It's so cool to look at your tank and just see hundreds of them, right? And because I didn't show myself actually moving the crystal red shrimp, I figured this would be a good substitute, as it's the same process. You start by getting all the shrimp in a small container. I like to use old shaker cups because I'm so swole that the lid's busted on me. You put an air valve on the end, you clamp one end into the tank, and get the valve end here over your cup. If you have shrimp in the tank, like if you're just adding new shrimp, you're gonna want to put something like a sponge or a pantyhose or something over the one end of the hose so that baby shrimp don't get sucked up into it, and then they'll end up dying in there because they'll get stuck at the air valve. It's just bad news bears. Okay, back to this. You start the suction and you just reduce that flow down to a couple of drips a second. You can go anywhere from like 2 drips a second to like 5 drips a second. You just count, you know, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and kind of see how many times it drips. It's pretty straightforward, right? I don't really need to explain that.
It doesn't really make sense.
Over time, you can increase the drip rate if you so please. I tend to keep it at this slow drip for at least 4 hours. These guys ended up dripping for closer to 7 hours. The end goal here is just to have the temperature, TDS, and pH read the exact same in both the tank and the cup, preventing any kind of shock to the shrimps. The biggest shrimp killer is just that, shock. Once those parameters match, take your cup, put it in the water, and give it a tip. The shrimp will come swimming out and start exploring their new home. From this final shot, attentive viewers will notice I cleaned up this tank compared to the last time it was on camera. Much less moss in general right now, but like all plants, it will eventually grow back, so nothing to worry about in terms of hiding spots. I'll finish this video up with a couple macro shots of my red King Kongs and crystal red shrimp babies. Thanks a ton for watching, and remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you aren't already. Support links are in the description, as well as a link to my Discord. Just wanted to note here, I am really sorry for the lack of uploads recently. Just been really busy, started a new job. Kid is just a handful. I have a ton of stuff filmed. I just need the time and energy to edit it, and I also am very sorry about the lack of live streams if you really enjoyed those. It's an energy thing when it comes to the Thursday nights. I'm just so tired these days. Huge member shout out here for the continued support from Drifters Workshop, Roman Pitroff, Jens Brinkman, Robert Redmond, Zoltan's Aquatics, Kendra Crippen, Zodiac 246, BJ Palmer, Lucas Talbot, Daniel Cordone, Jake FWTX, Jamie A, Everett Irby, and Mitch Bottomo. Anyways, guys, remember, until next time, keep your shrimp hands strong. Bye-bye now. Stop! Stop the recording! You fuck. Let's put it to good use and place it over in this corner. Well, fuck. And this final chola with various types of anubias attached to it. Let's do that again. This was... Oh. And now the next couple of steps I actually forgot to film for whatever reason. It's been a while, but while the water... Oh, God. And then for the next little while, I just added a couple at a time when I saw them in the 20-gallon long. That didn't come out right. The first couple... Oh, goddamn. And for anyone curious, these guys pop some babies right around the end of October, so the tank... I'm praying that they do a little better. Anyway, so I could end this here, but I hear you all asking, do it the 20. No, not that one. For the 20 long, though, I got myself some red King Kong shrimp. Fuck. Over time, you can increase this drip rate if you... Much less moss right now, but, you know, like all plants, it will eventually grow back. You know, nothing... And because I didn't show myself moving the crystal red shrimp, I figured this would be a good substitute. Damn it. Because I didn't show myself... damn.